What is going on with Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies, man? This situation is hairy, and I feel bad for Memphis fans because Ja's your guy, and he's a very entertaining player. However, I don't think he's going to be in this team for long. The Grizzlies are currently 4 and 6th, 10th in the Western Conference, and Ja Morant is currently averaging one of his worst stat lines that he's actually averaged in his career. He's currently averaging 20.1 points, 3.9 rebounds, 7.9 assists. And you can see just off these stats of his career, pretty much since 2021-22 season, they've just been going down. As you can see with the points here, 27.4, 26.2, 25, 23, 22, and now 20. It's just been a steady decrease. And this whole topic has just been brought up by the light of him getting suspended the other day. As you can see here, why did he get suspended? It's because he had an altercation with the coach. I believe it's a new head coach this year. I believe the other one got fired or something last year. But he got suspended by having a back and forth with the Memphis Grizzlies coach. And in my opinion, if your star player and your coach are beefing, your star player is getting suspended because he's not being a good leader and stuff like that, I think the end is near if stuff like that's happening, and I don't think that's a good look. And I think it's a poor representation not only on the team, but it's a poor example that you're setting for the rookies and the young guys on the team. And it's disappointing because Ja Morant is such an entertaining player in this league. A couple years ago, he was like kind of on the same level Anthony Edwards is now, where people look at Ant, he's kind of like one of those guys people think is the face of the league, doing insane stats and insane plays and stuff like that. And I feel like just since the drama of Ja Morant has come up, obviously with his showing his gun on like Instagram Live and stuff like that, getting suspended, injuries and stuff like that, it's kind of just been spiraling into what it is now, where essentially there are trade talks and the Grizzlies are just in a very interesting situation. Essentially, the coach, Izalu, I don't know how to say his name, I'm not gonna lie, pretty much addressed Morant's lack of effort and leadership in front of the team. And I actually don't mind that. I think it's kind of one of those things where it's kind of good and bad. I think he probably should have taken him to the side and discussed it privately. But I can understand with the Grizzlies situation, you can get annoyed and it may be said in front of the team. And I can understand why Ja Morant isn't happy with that happening, because Ja Morant obviously cares about basketball and he obviously cares about winning, and having that done in front of your whole team, it's been embarrassing, I'm not gonna lie. However, this is what happened, and then Ja Morant then went into the media and talked about it, saying it was a little spill by the coach, and pretty much went on to do a Jimmy Butler. And where is this quote? So essentially, he was asked about the whole situation, and a reporter asked him if Morant has his usual joy of playing basketball, and he did a Jimmy Butler and just said no. And to me, that's a pretty clear sign that he's not only enjoying playing basketball at the moment, he's not only enjoying playing basketball in Memphis, he's not only enjoying not playing basketball for the coach and his teammates, but I think it's a sign that it's time to part ways with Ja Morant if I'm the Memphis Grizzlies. And looking at it, I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. Personally, looking at this Grizzlies team and how they've performed so far and in the past, I don't think that the core of having Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. is going to be enough to win a championship, and I think that's just facts. So I think they have to blow it up. Personally, I think Jaren Jackson Jr. is a really good piece. They just recently signed him for an extension. I believe it was like a 5-year extension. So I think he's a really good piece to have defensively. He's defensive player of the year a couple years ago and stuff. But I think the Grizzlies have to move on from Ja Morant. I think the drama and the negativity that he's brought is kind of being now too impactful, where it's affecting his game. And I think with the Grizzlies roster, they kind of want to win now. And I just don't think Ja Morant on this team is going to make them do that and achieve that goal. It kind of says here as well that the relationship between Morant and the Grizzlies hasn't really been talked about a lot, and it's been kind of held internally. So there could be like factors that we don't even know, but I think this is a big factor, the fact that Jaren Jackson Jr. did get that big contract extension. However, they did not engage in discussions with Morant surrounding a deal. I think that's a pretty big sign that the Grizzlies aren't really 100% there for Ja Morant, and honestly, I don't blame him with all this drama. However, just going off what's happened in the media recently and in the past, this idea of trading Ja Morant does come to light. And personally, I want to know what you guys think as well. So comment in the comments what you guys think about this whole situation. I personally think they need to trade him, and I think they need to go into a rebuild. I'd like to see the Grizzlies go into a rebuild. They have some good pieces that they can trade for some like draft capital, but it's interesting seeing what's happening in Memphis, and it's a shame that like I want to see Ja Morant back to his best, man, without this drama, because he was so electric and so entertaining. But that's going to do it for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. If there's anything I can improve on, please let me know. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in a bit.